to Tane Politic. Today we're going to be looking at the 2024 United States presidential election. Not at the candidates, not at the race, but at one specific thing: swing states. On my map, I have classified quite a few states. 14 to be exact, plus Nebraska's 2nd district, totaling up to 213 electoral votes. Remember, if any candidate wins all of these, they just need another 57 electoral votes to win. I have forgotten to add one more. I need to add Maine's 2nd district. So now, it's 214, 56 more to win. But these states are varying degrees of competitiveness. So let's start. The swing states that are least competitive. So Colorado is one of them. It's really not that competitive at all. Another one would be Nevada. It's also not very competitive anymore. Minnesota would be a second. It's somewhat competitive, but not too much. Wisconsin is a second. Wisconsin is a first degree. Sorry. Iowa is a third degree. So you can see Iowa. So Iowa is kind of in between. It's like Minnesota because it's been going Republican for a really long time. 2016, 2020. The last time it went for Barack Obama was all the way back in 2018, 2008, 12, that time. So it's and the 2nd district is one of the most competitive, both Nebraska and Maine. Pennsylvania is somewhat competitive, but to the 2nd degree, as is Michigan. Ohio is also to the 2nd degree. It's in between. Alaska's classified as a 3rd degree. So is North Carolina. Georgia is extremely competitive. Florida is a 2nd degree competitive. Texas is 3rd degree. And Arizona is 1st degree. So if you look at this, 44 ultra competitive. These are the 6 locations: Arizona, Wisconsin, Georgia, Maine, New Hampshire. Oh no, sorry, I forgot New Hampshire. New Hampshire is the 2nd degree, and that's actually 6 locations now. So Arizona, Wisconsin, Georgia, Maine's 2nd district, and Nebraska. Okay, 5. I'm counted wrong. But then the other states do. For example, in the second rate column, there are quite a few competitive states. Firstly, so Nevada and Colorado are 4th rate, right? But then there's some others in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Florida, and New Hampshire. These 4 states, or 2nd string, as I like to call them, 2nd string swing states. In total, they add up to 69 electoral votes. This is a big number. And then you have the 3rd rows: Minnesota, Iowa, Ohio, North Carolina, and Texas. These have traditionally gone with one party, but have some room for competitiveness. I do plan to make a video about Minnesota and its political future. But if we look at the other 4, Iowa, for example, it's been a stalwart Republican state for a while now. It was considered a swing state in 2020, but then it went to Trump by big margins. Ohio is another example. Again, it was thought of as a swing state. Biden was leading in some polls, but yet the Republicans swept it. Donald Trump won it easily. North Carolina, exact same story here. It was an Obama state, and then in 2012, Mitt Romney narrowly won, really close, so I could still say it's competitive. And then in 2016, Trump bashed Hillary here, and in 2020, Trump kept it in his pocket. The last state is Texas. This is a huge prize: 41 electoral votes. At some point, it's projected that Texas might actually have more electoral votes than California. But the big thing in Texas is Republicans control the governorship. state, and they control the state house, the state senate, the state courts are all extremely conservative. Why am I putting it as even remotely competitive? It's even more unlikely to go for Democrats than Georgia before 2020. Georgia, the last time it went for Democrats was in Bill Clinton. This Texas was in Lyndon B. Johnson years. The reason Texas is getting competitive is not for one of the reasons usually you think about. Maybe minority or whatever. It's the fact that Republicans keep messing up big time there. It may not be a political climate or culture shift as much as it is for a week of Republicans in Texas. They have the huge Texas power blackout just recently, and that's just one of the many issues. Environmental immigration crisis. I mean, Biden is partially at fault, but Governor Greg Abbott is also partially at fault. Huge COVID net numbers here, and that's why I'm rating it as somewhat competitive. But now, let's get rid of the states that no one's going to care about. Nevada, Colorado, they've been going blue for a while. Get rid of them. Ignore them. New Hampshire, it seems competitive, but it's not. Ignore it. Democrats are going to give up a few states. They're probably going to give up on Iowa, not spend as much. Same with Ohio and North Carolina. Those aren't their focuses. These are the major states. Michigan is also probably not going to be that competitive in the future now that Donald Trump is gone. Pennsylvania won't be that competitive either, and Wisconsin would go slightly back. Would be the same level as Minnesota, actually a little higher than Minnesota. Yeah, that seems about right. So you see, it's now just 121 electoral votes, but it's still extremely important because see right now if we just look at this. Democrats currently hold a majority of Arizona's congressional seats and hold its 2 senators and won in the presidential election. Similar stuff in Georgia. In Maine, the 2nd district is competitive. I'm not gonna bother, but it's not that competitive. It's 1 electoral vote. I clicked the wrong thing. No one's gonna care. If it's 1 electoral vote, instead of investing $1 million there, they can just invest $1 million into a state like Texas or Georgia. And the Republicans aren't going to be focused on it, neither are the Democrats. No one's really going to care about that 1 electoral vote unless it's an extremely close race like in 2000. That year, if they spent a little more in New Hampshire and such states, Al Gore might have won because it was so close. So these are the remaining states, 120 of them. Now, Democrats aren't going to be Wisconsin is a Democratic state. I'm just going to be honest. It went for Barack Obama. It went for the Democrats for the longest time. It just went for Trump because he's Trump. It's unlikely if they nominate someone else like Mike Pence, Wisconsin would go for him. It's likely that it would be closer than the Obama years, but it would be maybe less than 2 or 3%. But I do think that it would go for the Democrat. So that means we have 110 electoral votes here. Now, I'm also going to characterize Minnesota as a non-competitive state for this reason, just because of the fact that while Minnesota is moving to the left, it's not moving as much to the left as the rest of the nation. So to think about it, Minnesota is just going this way, while the rest of the nation is going this way. But basically, what I'm trying to say is if Minnesota is moving slightly to the left, the whole country is moving much further to the left. So at some point, they would start moving in the Republican area of thought because the Republicans in some states especially are moving more to the center, while in other states, more to the right. So Minnesota, but especially looking at all the controversies surrounding the January 6th riot, the political polarization, some actions by some state party chairs, it's unlikely that Minnesota would go to the Republicans for at least another 2 or 3 major presidential elections. So that leaves it's 101 electoral votes. Just for the sake of it, for the same reason as Maine's 2nd district, I'm going to remove Nebraska's 2nd district because these are. So now let's look at these 4 states. adding up to 100 electoral votes. Whoever wins this, if the Democrats win it, I'll just show you something, okay? So, Dems, right? Let's add it. So the Democrats have Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, Colorado, Hawaii, and then this whole group. They have, let's just say they have Maine's 1st District, New York, Virginia, Pennsylvania. If you just add them up, forget about some of the competitive states, okay? Get rid of Pennsylvania, get rid of New Hampshire. 192 plus 100, that's already 292. Democrats have won if they just win these 4. Let's try it with the Republicans, shall we? Republicans, classic colors, red, add. Oh, I don't need that. Okay. Republicans, Montana, I'll be looking into that state. There's some interesting stuff there, but okay. And now let's see. Nebraska at large, Nebraska's 1st, Nebraska's 3rd, North Dakota, South Dakota, Kansas, for the Democrats, I forgot New Mexico, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana. That's 127. For the Republicans, there's a long-term realignment going on in American politics. So let's just give the Republicans a chance. Let's say they win North Carolina, Maine's 2nd District, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania. They hit the 270 required. But think about it. They need to win. No, I clicked it wrong. They need to Maine's 2nd District only, not Maine at large, which means they're sold 167. They need to win another one. Wisconsin, for example. See, if you look at this, Wisconsin, Maine's 2nd District, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and New Hampshire. Democrats start off at around 197, even if we don't get them some of the more competitive locations like New Hampshire. They start off at 197 electoral votes. Republicans start off at 127. I forgot about Minnesota, and Republicans also have Alaska. Okay, let's just say an Illinois for the Democrats. I forgot all about it. Now Democrats, they start off at 225. Okay, let's just say North Carolina has been going to Republicans for a while. Let's give it to them. 146. Democrats need 45 electoral votes to win. Republicans, on the other hand, need far, far more. They're at about 150. They need 124 more to win. Even if they win all of the swing states, they still need some more. And we classified these as non-competitive states, but let's say we classify it as swing states. All of these. Maine 2nd, Nebraska. Oh, I clicked the wrong one. Okay, so now let's look at this. Democrats, out of all these 167 electoral votes, Democrats need 45. Republicans need way more. 270 minus 150, that's 120 plus the 4, 124. Democrats need 45, and Republicans need 124. Think about it. It's far easier for the Democrats. Okay, forget about Arizona. Say the Republicans keep Texas, keep Arizona, keep Florida, keep Georgia. Now Democrats are going to win New Hampshire, they're going to win Pennsylvania, they're going to win Michigan, and they're going to win Wisconsin. Give the Republicans the others. All of the others. Oh, I keep messing it up. Democrats still win though, but this is what the map would look like. But ignore everything else. Let's just look back at the swing states. There's so many of them. Some of them are worth 10 points, some of them are worth 1 point in the case of the 2 districts, the 2 second districts. But the thing that matters here are not all the swing states. I mean, we can go back and classify all the even remotely competitive ones. Nebraska's Maine 2nd, Nebraska 2nd, Minnesota, Iowa, Texas, Arizona, Colorado, Nevada, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina. So many of them. 214 of them to be exact. But the fact is, some of them don't matter. As I said, Nevada, Colorado, not Minnesota, Iowa, not in competition. Get rid of Michigan, Michigan and Pennsylvania. At least you can keep Wisconsin because it is somewhat more competitive and slightly more conservative. So 149. But who cares if who wins Maine 2nd District, Nebraska 2nd District, Wisconsin, when you got such big prizes like Texas and Florida? And that's what will happen. People will forget about New Hampshire and Maine and Nebraska. They'd probably even start to forget about Wisconsin. You see, these are the 5 remaining states. 133 electoral votes of them. 6. What am I saying? Ohio isn't going to be competitive, at least for the next election season. Republicans are going to win it. I can be sure of that based on the data. It's extremely likely. But there are just 5 states left. North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Texas, and Arizona. I'm going to get rid of North Carolina because it went Republican for a while. 4 states, 100 electoral votes. These are the future of American elections. The next swing states. The 2018 U.S. Senate election in Florida. It was so close. Look at the difference. It was 10,000 vote difference. That's how small it was. They had a huge recount. This is a repeat of 2000. It's a major thing that happened. Then if we look at the state of Texas, for example, let's go all the way up. Texas. If we go to Texas. There. So let's look at Texas. So Beto O'Rourke, Ted Cruz was elected 57. Now he was at 50. There was a difference of 2%. 2%, around 2.5%. That's a huge thing for Democrats in Texas. Obviously, it was Beto O'Rourke. He's really popular, and there's all of that. But the fact is, if a Democrat could do this well in Texas, if the Democrats invest more in the state, they could do much better. If we look at the 2020 United States presidential election, they didn't do that well. 52 to 46, there's a difference of 6%. But looking at the historical data in 2016, the difference was far more. He won 52 to 43, that's almost 10%. Then if we go back to 2012, the difference is huge. That's almost 20%, almost 18% at this point. In 2008, it was closer because it was 2008, a huge blue wave year, but it was much more competitive. And that's why I think these states, Florida, Texas, Georgia, and Arizona, are extremely important to maintaining control of the United States presidency, Senate, and House of Representatives. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.